don't try to sneak into your room like that. I know what you've got behind your back. Records. More new records.
So, you know, the secret sauce of record production is really the plating. That's the secret sauce. And
that's where it begins.
This is the master.
That's where it all begins.
Dorin Sauerbier. This is where it all starts here.
Yeah. Well, if I talk to my master and engineer friends, they'll argue with me.
Yeah, that's true. But we're talking about the pressing part.
Yeah. So
this is where the secret sauce is made, and
this is literally the room where the secret sauce is made.
I learned that when I heard Sterling Sound masters plated and pressed in the UK versus plated and pressed in America. The difference was enormous. Same mastering. I learned that in the late '60s.
Okay.
So Dorin, you've been here for how long?
38 years.
38 years.
Yeah, 39.
So you started
this August?
You were 20 years old or something?
22.
Okay.
I was a baby. Yeah.
And this is your office?
Yeah. This is where I can think and calm my mind so I can figure things out. So yeah, for me, this is what vinyl is tools and screws and grease and making adaptations to our machines or modifying something or building something. So we do a lot of that in here or in other similar little areas in the plant. We like to do repair work and all that. So yeah, this is kind of what vinyl's about.
Yes. Okay, take me on it.
All right, let's go this way. So I guess where we would start is with the lacquer. So the lacquers are generously supplied by our master engineer friends, of which we have dozens and dozens. And Fremer right now is organizing today's load. And so we've received these lacquer masters throughout the world generally. Typically, what do we get every day? About 30 or so, a little more sometimes. Sometimes we'll get 70 or 80. Sometimes we'll get 2 or 3.
And these came in from all over the world? All over the country?
They can come in from all over the world. Generally, there's a lot that comes from Nashville, obviously, and Hollywood. But yeah, they'll come from, there's little cutting studios everywhere. We have
and these all came in today, right? Because you can't,
yes.
These things can't sit around for too long, right?
Well, the dirty secret is, yes, they can sit around for years. I've done lacquers that are years old.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
So,
but no, we don't do that as a practice. We get them in, we process them same day. But occasionally there'll be a customer who will have a set of masters they don't want to process for whatever reason, but they'll ask us not to throw them away, and they'll come back 18 months later or more. Wow. We'll process it, and it will be fine.
Is there anything famous I should know about here? Anything?
Well, let me look here.
Famous?
Let me see if I can admit to anything.
So let's talk about this machine here, which wasn't here the last time I was here.
Yeah, so this machine is built by Seibert in the UK, and this is a very unique machine.
Right. I met the guy at one of the Making Vinyl events. It's really good that you can go to Making Vinyl and meet these people who make these machines.
Yeah, this machine is designed to remove horns from mothers. We don't generally suffer from horns here at our pressing plant, let alone I don't really hear much complaints in the United States.
Explain what a horn is to people.
A horn is the effect of a groove when it's cut on the shoulder. The cutting will create a furrow, kind of like a wave that will kind of roll over, and it will make sort of a cone. It's very hard to see unless you have a really good microscope.
Yeah.
This machine will take that furrow down to the level of the shoulder without doing anything to the groove. So it's got a very, very delicate touch to it. Its pressure is very precisely controlled by, I can't remember all the words my engineer uses, but...
and when was this developed? This is a recent development.
This machine is, I'll tell you right now, this machine was built in 2020. This is number 3 of 3. He's not building anymore.
Really?
This machine is very difficult for him to engineer, and only a few plants have these.
Wow.
GZ has one, and MPO has one. Optimal has something similar that they built, or perhaps they have a process they do by hand, which they're very happy with.
Because this is as opposed to what some people used to do, is just polish the whole...
Yeah. A lot of people used to take a rouge and a soft cloth or a cotton swab and very gently with some
And you can see
expertise.
that, right?
You can see it, and you can see this too. If you do it correctly, it's not easy to detect, but
Yeah.
a trained eye can see it. So this will take off that horn, which
And
will...
was this worth investing in?
Yes.
It was.
Yeah, it was. I don't use it often, but when I need it, I do need it.
Yeah.
And so it does help on that rare occasion that we struggle with horns on a job. The plants in Europe that have these machines, they use them for everything. And
Just as a matter of course.
Yes. And it's a wonderful machine. You want me to operate it for you?
Yeah. You scared me.
So this isn't really an active mother, but we can get it running for you. And it's always interesting to see this machine. This is here, I'll pull one out for you.
Oh, but it's putting the blue liquid on there.
Yeah, that is the surfactant. The surfactant is a fancy name for dishwashing liquid.
Dawn.
That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, and so you can take this and clean a duck with it if you want.
Yes, you could. And here is the sandpaper. It's very smooth. You can't even feel.
It?
Yeah, you can't even feel the grit on it.
Yep.
So it's very gentle on this whole process.
Okay.
Come on down. There we go. But this machine is amazing too. Wait till you see that. One of my favorites in the other room.
And now it's going to go pick up
Right, so
a pad.
it's dropping a pad. So what it does is it dispenses all of the used pads in here. Okay. We only use them one time. And now it's going to pick up a cleaning pad. Sometimes I have to encourage it a little bit.
It's obstinate.
Well, I don't use it daily, so that's one of the issues. There you go. Okay, so now it's just cleaning off any of the remaining dish soap. And once it's finished with this cleaning pad, then it will go through a spin dry cycle. And at that point, we can take it and listen to it immediately.
So I go into the dentist.
Pretty much. So VDM stands for Vinyl Dehorning Machine. Yeah, you had a question about, is it worth it to invest?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. We believe investing in the plating side of it pays dividends that are that's a great place to invest your money.
Especially because you can do that for other people.
Yeah.
And this expertise is not. It goes through many back and forth things.
Right.
Probably you don't have to show all of it because it'll tell you.
No, you can. Yeah, you could edit this down.
There it goes.
Okay. And now to start its cleaning cycle. So this will make it to where it's dry to the touch, and we can take it back and listen to it again if we need to. And Junior, John and JJ Golden, they use these old Pyrel shipping containers.
Wow.
And so
Vintage.
these are 45 years old.
Wow.
And they are still, we use them daily. So John will bring them to me with, full of
Is he
lacquers.
located around here?
John is in Ventura and his son JJ is in Thousand Oaks.
Huh.
And so they both
If I
cut
had
for
time, I
us.
would have tried to go visit him too, but I don't.
Yeah.
They don't cut much from tape anymore, do they?
I don't know. I'm not sure. So yeah,
Okay.
So there's many different types of cartons. Some of them are very unusual. Some of them you're
like
like,
that one.
why are you doing this? But but typically they all come in good shape.
Yeah.
And all right, so once the lacquers have been prepped and ready, then we would take them out for silvering. Depending on the time you have, you could catch some shots of silvering. That'll be in about 2.5 hours or so.
In 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna have time.
Okay.
I don't think I should.
Okay. I'm sure you've gotten it before.
Yeah, I got it.
One of the things that I'm working on right now, I am building another plating tank.
Wow.
So this is a 8-position plating tank, and I'm building it from some vintage plating equipment, and I am also having to add some of our own construction to it.
Where did these come from?
Many different places. I collect this old equipment, and so over the years, as I get it, I start building it and putting parts together. So if you look, you can see here all the different colors.
Yep.
Well, that's probably 5 different machines. And then if we look at this one here, I probably got this motor off of eBay, but I had to make this gearbox and commutator assembly. So some of the tabletops are original, some of them are rebuilds, but I designed them after the original equipment.
I love that.
Yeah. And if you look at some of our other plating equipment, it's built in the same fashion.
Yeah.
So these right now are making stampers. These will be pressing future records. Okay. We have 28 of these high-speed rotary positions running right now. With the new tank, we'll have 36. I have a goal of 36 rotary because I have 36 pre-plate. So I want to try to even it all out.
Why not?
These 2 tanks here I got from WIA back in the early 90s from Oliphant.
You know, I always tell the story that I went visiting them when they were still operating.
Mhm.
And I went there with Craig Street, who was a record producer,
Okay.
great records, and with Greg Calvi, the national engineer. And they showed us that they were still pressing records, and they were making CDs.
Yeah.
And the guy said to me, "We're going to get rid of all these presses,
Yes.
and we're going to be making DVDs here."
Right.
And I said, "What? Save the presses, it's going to come back." And they looked at me like, "You're out of your mind," and they scrapped all those machines.
I managed to get these 2 machines from them when they started throwing out their vinyl equipment. Within a year and a half, they wanted them back.
Within a year and a half?
Yes.
Well, there you have it. Too bad.
And over here are the 2 plating tanks that RTI started with. They're vintage 1980s. They have been 95% rebuilt, and they have modern DC rectifiers instead of the silicone diode 500-pound rectifiers sitting up here. We have these switching power supplies. They weigh about 50 pounds apiece.
And is this what the Scientologist?
The Scientologist, I purchased the tanks from WIA for that project.
Right.
And so with those 2 tanks and these 2 old tanks, that was the Scientology project.
Yeah.
And these 2 tanks I built kind of as a collection too. I always collect stuff.
Right.
And so as I get enough to finish a tank, then I'll put it together.
And you don't store these in your garage?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes depends on where I get it, and I don't have room here. I just throw it in boxes.
And you're still married? Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Well, my wife stays out of my garage.
Okay, that's good.
I stay out of the rest of the house. I'm kidding.
I know.
I'm kidding.
We're caterers. We can kid. We're allowed to kid.
Okay, let's go into the silvering room here. Okay, so in here is where we process the lacquers. There's plenty of videos of us silvering lacquers, so if anybody's interested, they can.
I have them myself.
Yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is a real one.
Real one?
Yeah.
Okay, the first part of the plating process involves taking the lacquer, putting it in this spray booth, and spraying it with a thin coating of silver that makes it conductive. So you're going to see that right now. Once a thin coating of silver adheres to the lacquer, it's removed from the silvering booth and rinsed.
And this silvering booth here, we built probably 2018. It's just a kind of a copy, a slightly different version of our original silvering booth built by SMT. That's the same manufacturer of the record presses we have.
Yeah.
So they did for a time get into electroforming equipment. And
This is the first step. After you silver it, it goes into these.
right, it'll go into these pre-plate tanks. So if you look over here, the temperatures we keep at a steady 100 degrees.
Okay.
So we start with a very low temperature and a very low current value per part. So that's the classic desired condition to begin processing a lacquer. So we do what the industry desires. Process lacquers within 24 hours of receipt, pre-plate, low temperature, low voltage, low amperage. And then from there, we've captured the sound that that lacquer should produce. The optimum level that that lacquer will ever be will be within that 24-hour period. So,
Okay. And next.
all right. Well, let's check it out over here. So once they come out of here, then we would, in the pre-plating phase, we're making what's called the father, or also known as a master, and it can also be called a convert. Once we make that one of those items, then we have to make a mother. And so here are some of
You're
those.
gonna crack one for me?
Yeah, I'm going to open one up for you. So here are some of these discs that are waiting to make mother.
This is a real one.
These are the real ones. So we have on this side, this is the back of the lacquer. On the other side is where the music is cut, and so we have plated nickel onto it.
Right.
First we applied our silver layer, then we plated nickel onto it. Okay.
This looks very violent.
Kids, don't try this at home.
No.
So we need to break this flange away. This flange is what helps to seal the edge of the lacquer while it's plating so fluids don't leak in.
Right.
The plating fluids can damage this once it's begun plating if they leak in. And usually I do this with gloves on. Okay, there you go.
And there you have it. Now that's not usable again, right?
Only for reference.
Yeah.
It won't sound good if we plate it again. And it will also have what we call pressure streaks on it from the separation.
Yeah.
But your disc should always separate that cleanly and easily.
Sure.
You can see we don't really have any breaching of fluids in here anywhere.
Yep.
Then we're going to take this and clean it up. We're going to clean the edges, and we're going to strip this residue from the lacquer off. The lacquers, people always think they look black, but they're really just a really deep purple.
Yes.
And that's the color of the residue, is this purple haze that's left on, which we remove with a solvent. Generally we use acetone for that, but you could use other types. Okay. Just back up here. All right, so that disc would be...
bad ones down there.
Now this is just... This is what we call a foil covering.
Oh.
Okay, so if when we're using a mother for production and when we're making stampers off of it, sometimes something happens and somebody scratches it, or you might begin to lose conductivity here, which will create a large hole in the mother. There's various reasons why we might need to replace the mother, and so when that happens, we'll go retrieve the father from our file, and to preserve it, we plate on a thin layer of nickel. And we leave our silver layer on the father because that does, in my opinion, give it the truest repeatability of the lacquer. If you take that silver layer off, then dimensionally those grooves aren't quite the same. Leaving the silver layer on, they should be exactly.
So this is after you've removed the silver layer from...
No, we leave the silver layer on the father. This is plated onto that father once we've made a mother, and that sealing is airtight, liquid tight, and so it's archival. and it will prevent that silver from oxidizing, meaning we can use that father in its silvered condition for decades, so long as we've taken care of this process properly.
Interesting.
And so we do this step. This is an extra step we do to keep the longevity of the quality for as long as we possibly can. Okay. Does it always work? No.
Okay.
It generally works really well though. But that's just there waiting for the scrap down. Okay. We do have a lot of work in this shop at any one point, and if you look around the shop as we walk through, you'll see racks everywhere.
Yeah.
When we're busy, every rack is full, and we have position for about 750 parts with all the racks that we have. And so we'll have running through the shop in one day 3 times that much, depending on how busy we are and how many people we have working. Can we send out 2,100 parts a day? No, but they're all in various states of production. So it really depends on how much work we have, but you got to have a place for that much work.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these aren't that expensive to have.
Yeah, no, yeah, just a small investment, and then
Dish racks.
yeah, that's it. Now we get into some of the stamper forming equipment. So once we've made our mother, we've sound checked that, then we would come back and put it into the plating tank and make record stampers. And so the higher volume your record stampers, the more people you need, or the more automation you need. So here we have a lot of, you see these blue machines, they all say Cybert on them. And this equipment is designed by Ian Locke out of the UK.
Yeah.
And
this is a stamper finisher.
this is a stamper
As opposed
finisher.
to a dehorner, but this looks like a similar.
It is the same exact machine with nearly the same components. The dehorning machine has more sophistication in its in the pressure that it applies to the surface that it's treating.
And none of this was here when I was here last week. None of this.
Wow, so you haven't been here for more than 10 years.
That's right. I wasn't.
Yeah.
And
So-
this is the back of the stamper.
Yes. So
Sure.
these machines, this is called a vinyl stamper finisher. What they do is they will create an average roughness on the back of the stamper to where there is little variation in the surface of that stamper, so that when it mates onto your record die, the mating is very precise.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, we're using sanding discs to create this finish.
Because when I was here, you had, I think it was that machine right there.
We still use it every day.
What do you do with it?
Well, this machine offers us some flexibility. We strip our acetate off of our masters with it. Sometimes we have to sand label areas of a stamper if the labels aren't gripping, so we use that machine for that. Sometimes we have to come over here and back sand with it, like these machines are doing, though we try not to.
So it's an auxiliary machine that has its purposes, but it's...
Yeah. So this machine has never lost its value. In fact, it's still one of the most valuable machines in this facility. Is it sophisticated? No, it's a beast. You turn it on,
Right.
and it'll rip your fingers off
Right.
if you don't respect it.
And it's
So-
got the vacuum just sitting there like...
Yeah, so the vacuum system is simply to remove any particles while we're sanding or,
Right.
or doing any work with these discs.
This is a whole nother level.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Level of sophistication.
Go ahead, Isaac. So Isaac's loading in a record stamper right now into the centering machine. And this is machine number 1 of 1 of a bet of some ribbing that I used to give Ian, the engineer. I said, I would tell him, Ian, make me an automatic centering machine so that we don't have to do this anymore. And after about 2 years of me bringing it up to him all the time, he called me up one day and said, I need a deposit. I'm like, what do you mean you need a deposit? He's like, I've built your machine. I'm like, what machine have you built? I'm probably doing a really bad British accent right now.
Yeah, you're
But,
not doing a good one, I'll say that.
And he's like, I've built your automatic centering machine. Send my deposit. And so right now the machine is adjusting itself automatically to bring the stamper on center.
As opposed to the older way where you put it under a microscope and you put it using your fingers.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We still have those over here. We still use them.
Why?
Occasionally we have a different size hole we need to punch,
I see.
or some other unique quality about a stamper that is just easier to do on a manual machine. But again, 99% of what we do goes through this machine.
And this must be a much higher...
15 microns on center, which is much higher.
And it just did it.
It just centered it. Yeah.
Punched it.
Yep.
It punched the cloth.
That's it. And so while this machine's operating, one operator can run all these machines by himself. And on a busy day, one operator can do in excess of 150 stampers by himself.
Oh, beautiful. Do we know what record that is? It looks like a 45.
It's a 10-inch.
10-inch, yeah.
It's going to Taiwan, Mobinica in Taiwan.
Another finisher like that was your 2 finishers,
right?
And one stamp.
So this one just completed its cycle. You can look at the finish here. So it's very nice,
beautiful,
even, consistent finish.
Yep.
And you can see we kind of get this cross-hatching effect here, which really prevents audible effects from hand sanding. So when you're hand sanding, you do it in a circular fashion, which kind of lines up with the groove. In this cross-hatch pattern, it cannot follow the groove.
Because you don't want it.
Right, we don't want it to.
And what's the other side? There we go.
Yeah, so that's our stamper.
And that looks sterling. So is that?
I can say the name of this, but
Sure.
this is a high security release.
Okay, Nina Hernes cut that. I see
Yeah,
that.
yeah, Joe cut this one. And this one's going to go to Nashville Record Pressing. And I think we're going to send them 50 sets of stampers.
Oh, it must be a
So
big one.
it's a big one. It's actually like this one. This is a good album.
Cool.
I'll tell you the name of it after.
Okay.
When you
And I won't tell anybody.
when you hit stop. Okay, we'll throw this one in for some centering now. So we're just going to place it in.
We're not going to watch another one go through that. Just
No,
one was enough.
we'll just set it up. So this is our lockout groove right here. Okay. And so that will tell us when our stamper's on center. Okay. And I'm just going to set it up in the machine. Move that over here. Vacuum. And then we just hit center, and we can walk away and go do something else.
Yeah, let's
So
do
we
that.
can operate the other sanding machines. We also have forming units over here, and these machines are very precise. Ian tells me they're back engineered from Blu-ray.
That's right. I remember saying that. Let me get a still shot.
Okay.
Just a brief interruption, esteemed viewers. As you may know, I'm Tom Martin, Chief Content Officer of The Absolute Sound. We have a new product. It's on the Substack platform, and we're going to do some interesting things with Substack. First of which is reader questions and answers. Each Monday, readers will submit questions. We'll pick the most interesting ones, and we'll answer the questions on Friday. We'll also have early access to articles and special blogs that don't appear anywhere else. We hope you'll join us. It's only a cost of a cup of coffee per month. Just check on the screen or in the show notes below. Thanks, and now back to the show.
So there's several different formats for a record, and generally they go by manufacturer of record press.
Yeah. So you have Phoenix, Alpha, SMT,
Viral.
Viral. That's right.
And so this is our Phoenix die, and we're going to form a stamper for furnace record pressing right now.
Hi, Eric.
It's in the sander right now.
Oh, is it still going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just put it in there. We only have 3 of them.
Okay.
This gives you an idea of what goes into this. I think a lot of people, not enough people, fully appreciate what goes into making a stamper ready to press. I think this gives you a really good idea of what goes on.
We're just waiting for this one to finish sanding. This is a stamper trimmer.
So this is the stamper trimmer in the old days.
In the old days, yeah.
And you keep it around because you collect old stuff.
Well, because we can change diameters,
Oh.
right? So our modern equipment's great, but it has fixed diameters.
I see.
These are adjustable, so we can get any strange diameter some customer may want. And then
Over here.
these are two different centering machines. So this one is a 1-inch centering machine, so it will punch a 1-inch hole in a stamper. And this one is 0.81 inches in diameter, so it's a slightly smaller. Generally, it would be like the fine belts would use this style, and this is more of like a Phoenix or a Tulex, which now most of the industry has adopted this one. So there is some standardization I'm
That's good.
very happy about. So these centering machines, you just monitor the groove on that screen. And then we have our old forming unit here. And so this is a 120 gram forming die. And then we have two different styles of 7-inch. There's a 10-inch back there. We have 4 different center forms here. A 5th one here. And then we have some alternate 180s, 120s, and some other styles here.
This helps explain why it makes a lot more sense for all of these places to use you to do this.
Oh, yeah,
Than
yeah.
to set up their own. You have
Right.
the not just the secret sauce, but you have all the equipment to do the best job.
I think the only other plating shop that has more variability in forming that I know of is Mastercraft.
Yeah.
And because they don't have any pressing in their plant, they just export plating all the time.
I should go visit him because he's in Jersey.
Yeah,
will.
he's like a stone's throw from you, isn't he?
I'll go do that.
Yeah. Get some video there because I've never seen any video from Desmond's shop
Hey, if
ever.
I'm going, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Because when I went to Transco, there wasn't video. I went to Transco.
I've
in
only
Elizabeth,
seen a
Jersey.
few videos from Transco, very few.
Yeah, because when I went to, I took the still shots, and I only have one picture.
Yeah.
Because it was a regular, the film camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to all those pictures.
Yeah.
It's really a shame.
Did you ever make it to Apollo when they were out here?
No.
They wouldn't let any photography or film during that, but yeah, that was a pretty impressive facility. So this machine is called the VSC. It's a vinyl stamper coining machine, and it will replace all of the manual equipment in this corner over here.
But you're not going to get rid of all that equipment.
No, I need it.
You need it.
Well, like right now, I have 3 of these. We call these carriages. So these forming dies come in what we call a carriage unit. I have 3 carriage units back in England right now,
Right.
being retooled, and I need this equipment. So this last 2 weeks, we've been using this equipment daily,
And it's good enough.
and it still works great.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with it.
And what's this right here? This is
That is the same machine. It's just the tooling for it is in the UK right now at Cyber being retooled.
I see.
So some of the equipment that I've had for a couple years, I've got close to 100,000 presses on it, and I have them sent back for resharpening. And the engineering advances, so they're putting in updated ideas and technology into the tooling.
There's always improvements.
Always.
Look at
Go ahead.
All right.
Okay, so Isaac's going to load this stamper into the coining unit,
It goes down. It goes
face down.
music side, face down, music side down.
Yeah, don't let this scare you.
I won't.
So it's doing 3 or 4 different functions right there in that moment. It's
I'm doing
gripping.
a function in my pants right now.
It's gripping the center. It's forming the center. It's cutting the OD and then forming the OD, all within about a 2-second time frame. Okay,
And,
and
and it looks like it's warped or something. That's
that
normal.
is from the forming.
Yeah, and that's normal for it. to
That's
be-
normal. So if you look here at all of the detail in this die, the stamper has to follow all of this detail and then also be formed here at the center. And so that puts, well, let's use the word for it, that puts a stress on the stamper.
Yeah.
So if we make flat stampers, when you properly form it, which we have to do because our stampers are hard, we have to form it to fit the dies. And so all of this extra bending that we're doing is putting a slight variation.
And that won't affect once it's on.
No,
the
once
tool.
you put it in the press and you you attach it at the center and you clamp it down with the ring, that holds it down perfectly into that profile that's on the pressing die. And so you can see it better from this side.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And so this machine can do this task in about 20 seconds, where if we did this manually, it'd be about 3 minutes.
Yeah, and that's time is money.
Yes.
Time is money.
And time is tired.
Yes.
Yeah, if you do 100 stampers manually a day, you're going to be exhausted.
Right, this looks like very intense music right there.
Yeah, I imagine this is, let me see,
Is that wet over
8-bit. This is water from the sanding units.
And that won't affect it.
No, it doesn't, because it's just deionized water.
Yeah.
And we still have to clean these stampers before we're finished with them.
Yep.
So all the stampers we complete forming on, we clean each and every single one, and it gets inspected for pinholes, cleanliness, and then it gets re-inspected for damage and accuracy, and then it gets re-inspected the third time before it ships or goes to our pressing plant.
Right.
Then the information has to match up with its envelope so that
Yes.
we're pressing the right record,
Yes.
which sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
We make collector's items also here.
And you don't want this going out someplace unless it's the right thing and it's perfect. And then
Yes.
and you document it so when it goes out, you know it. You can say to them, "Hey, we didn't do that
Yes.
here, right?" You have
Right.
to do that.
Oh yeah. And we don't fight that too often because it's not claimed that often.
Yeah.
But I can tell when I look at it under the microscope what happened to it.
Yeah.
You know, at what phase did somebody
forensic
yes.
plating and forensic stamper.
As a plating guy, you have to be on the defense all the time.
Okay, so one question I'd ask you. Sometimes you hear these stories that we sent them a lacquer and the lacquer got ruined. What happens?
I say it almost every day.
What happens?
Maybe not quite. So, well, if a lacquer gets ruined, there's many different ways it can get ruined. Generally, something will happen during the cleaning and silvering phase. And usually it's because we dropped it, we scratched it, some other unintentional mishandling happened. And that is unavoidable with human element. Okay? We do handle so many lacquers a day that it's not unusual for that to happen to us a couple times a week.
Yeah, and oops can happen.
So it's important to have good relationships with your mastering engineers, and so that they can be understanding.
That's another
as possible.
reason, if it's going to be from tape, another reason to get the processing done pretty quickly after you get it,
Right.
because the tape's not going to be there forever.
Right, it's got to go back to lockup or
Yeah.
whatever
There's
storage
one
facility.
record
it's
that was
using.
released, I won't say what it was, but side one was done from a tape,
Mm-hmm.
and then the lacquer got ruined for side two. And rather than getting the tape back, they just got a digital
Did I
file.
do that one?
No, you didn't do that one. You did not do that one.
Okay.
And I'm not going to
Yeah, so yeah, we do. There is handling issues sometimes with lacquers. Occasionally, we'll take them out of the lacquer box, and the spacers, unwittingly, we don't realize they're stuck to the lacquer you're taking off, and it falls off, and it hits the one below it. Sorry if that was too loud.
no, that's fine.
But you know, just these errors that you don't expect.
That's what errors happen when you don't
But
expect.
we try to get on it quickly and not let it become a problem. And so we try to replace things as soon as we find there's an issue.
Okay. Have you ever had an earthquake happen while you're
Yeah.
things get dropped?
No, nothing bad's happened yet. So we've
like liquid hasn't.
we've had some come
corrosive
out.
liquid come out.
It's not that corrosive. It's less corrosive than Diet Pepsi.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Well, that's why I don't drink Diet Pepsi.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't drink that either.
No, I have, and I'm still here.
Okay. Okay, Dorin has something fun. This is already fun. Believe me, this was fun for me. I think for a lot of people it'll be fun because they've never seen this in this kind of detail. I don't think. Hopefully, we'll all appreciate what goes on here a lot more than we have previously.
Do you want to listen to a mother?
Sure.
Okay.
I did for years. Is what made me erotic.
Okay, so these are brand new mothers from processed lacquers. I'm enlarging the center hole.
And you can be casual about that because that's not what's going to be doing anything.
Correct. Yeah. We use washers with smaller center holes than the spindle on a turntable, and so to get it to listen, so we can listen to it, we need to enlarge the hole. Okay, so this is a real test of our ability here. We're going to cold listen to a mother. It could be good, it could be bad, but we'll find out.
Touch and Go, Abbey Road.
From 19...
Touch and Go 211. What is Touch and Go 211?
Shellac. Shellac of North America.
Yeah, what a shame that was.
Yeah, we've done many. I recently had to remake the mothers for another pressing plant, and so that's why these are in here. Those are on DMM, and so DMM can last for many, many years. Okay. So here is our convert. We call this a convert because though it's a master, it's thin enough to become a stamper once we've listened to this mother. And this mother was cut by Bobby at Welcome to 1972.
Oh, okay.
You know Bobby, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna just.
And they just sold their plate. They just sold their plating.
They just sold their plating shop to the Vinyl Lab.
Right.
And Hunter's going to be heading that up.
So they have two presses, and now they have a plating shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oops, we have a little bit of a dimple here. Push that down. There we go. Sometimes we have some unevenness in a mother that doesn't translate. Ooh.
Plenty of power. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Here, let's see this one thing. I don't know. This is the fun one. I need a knife. You have to worry whenever somebody says, it's going to be fun, let me get my knife. Okay, so see if I can find it.
And what are in these boxes? These are finished records, or are these?
This is print. So these are for records we're going to finish. Some of this is records we have finished.
Oh, Gene Clark Roadmaster. Who's doing that?
Let me see what.
Oh, Rainbow Records. That's Sunday's music. That's old, right?
Yeah, but we're probably still going to repress it at some point.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got some Sub Pop there. There's Sub Pop posters. That's probably, could be Bob's Burger. I think that's Sub Pop. Some more Touch and Go. Here's Vigor, Sony. Here's Revolver, Guided by Voices. That's a good one. Let's see. Here's an independent artisan, Besson.
Now, how long have these been here?
Oh, let's see here, 2019. So if it's something that stays in print, then we generally keep it for quite a long time.
Okay.
Let me see if I can.
This is a very big warehouse too. Very big.
Well, yeah, I've seen much bigger.
Okay. And you have metal parts here?
Yeah, so this is our metal library. And it starts around, let me see here, 1990. This is number.
Okay, so where's the metal part for Ahmad Jamal Alhambra that was done for Joachim Bose at Alto Analog? Because
Alto Analog?
yeah, because that's
It's
missing.
It's right here. No, I don't know. I'd have to have the matrix number.
Yeah.
If you give me the matrix number and I have it.
I'll give it to you. The tape is missing. If you could find that, unless they
Alto.
took it back to Germany.
I remember Alto.
Yeah, they put out a lot of good records because
Yeah.
Bernie cut them in 1997
Okay.
from master tapes, and those tapes, a lot of those tapes went bye-bye.
Ah, okay, here we go.
DCC?
So there was some controversy that I threw out DCC metal.
Did you?
This is it right here.
All of it?
Yes.
So the
Controversy, put the rest, right? I can even open it up and show you.
Oh, he's gonna open one up. There's so many rumors floating around this business.
Yeah, I know. Some of them pertain to me. Some of them don't.
So Marshall got all the Audio Fidelity parts back?
I believe so.
So hopefully he didn't do anything with them.
I don't know. So here are some of the discs that are in there.
Yeah.
These numbers would be recognizable.
I can look those up.
Yeah. So they're all here.
And these are the mothers.
These are the mothers.
Yeah. So you could reuse those again, and
Yeah, we can use them anytime that the copyrights allow.
so somebody could resuscitate.
If somebody wanted to,
Yeah.
yes, they could. The masters weren't stored properly, so those don't exist any longer. They oxidized and got damaged.
This is the famous lacquer walk that I took a long time ago. Go over there, but first we're gonna go over here. So Kevin's studio was in here.
Yeah, we still have the room.
Oh, so Kevin Gray's studio at RTI was in here. Wow, it's still here.
Still here. It's our listening room.
Wow. This was Kevin Gray's cutting facility in here.
Yeah, so Kevin Gray, he poured a slab over here for his lathe.
Right.
That's what we have right here. So it's isolated. Before it was Kevin Gray's room, it was Stan Ricker's room.
Oh.
And Stan Ricker was here for a short time, and he had his lathe over here. And we've since covered up that area that he had.
And then
mounted.
where did he? Wasn't there they built a echo chamber here to do the Nat King Cole box? They tried to duplicate.
I think it was a piece of equipment they built, not a room.
To try to duplicate the Capitol.
Yeah.
They did a pretty good job. That box sounded great, whatever it was.
Well, this was actually, even before it was a cutting room, this was where we produced bin masters for audio cassettes. And so, yes, I am a mastering engineer. I did master for a very short time with my brother in here.
Cassettes?
Cassettes, yes.
I won't run that.
You won't hold it against me,
No,
right?
I will run that in the video. Okay.
And let me see, we did a lot of Blue Note in here too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The music matters.
Yes.
And I Beach House. That's a good band. I like Beach House.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's some craft records here.
Kyle's here, right?
I texted him to see if he was coming in.
I'll take care of it.
But what is it? Can I look? I'm gonna look. Oh. It's Tone Poet time.
The Freedom Ring.
Oh, that's the finished one step. Wow. Looks great. I gotta get home and play all of them. I haven't played them.
So whoever gets 2421 out of 3,000, you're memorialized.
Let me get a still picture of that one. There's some Tone Poets back in the clean.
This is Impex ABs. This is just a mock-up. There's no records in that. So this is just the packaging area where we assemble the finished products before we put them into shipping cartons.
How many presses are here? Eight presses?
9. Yeah, we have 9. Impulse.
They were saying this. Yeah, this is one of the Bird Request series, I guess. Nine presses operating here at RTI. There's a lot of records here.
A lot of VMP today.
And all these presses are operating fine right now. They're all
Yeah, they
cool. Real old.
the old steam valves. Yeah.
It's just great to see these things still working after all these years.
Well, they have been maintained over the years. You know, for a good part of the life by Rick Okamoto.
Yep.
And then now our team Adam and Soul. Been really taking care of him. When we got a little slow, I let our pressman get really creative with some artwork.
Oh, cool. That's good. You know, I think that's a good vibe and helps.
Yeah.
All right.
So you've seen the old and the new,
The old and the new.
all in one day.
All in one day, yeah. So how do you make the best records in the world?
By throwing away the ones that are not.
All right. Oh, here's Patrick's record.
Yep.
A man against his will was in a struggle with a fall. He's sitting perfectly still in a hole behind the wall. His cat was up a tree. His mood was midnight blue. Never had a single reverie. He'd never even had a view. For those of us so far apart, for those of us who